Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. Today's May 30th, 2026. And I got a reading for you guys. I'm excited about today's reading. And also, if you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also the notification so that you can get notified of my next video. As always, this is a collective message. Take what resonates with you. Do not try to force anything. If it doesn't fit, you can throw it back to the universe, okay? This is the goal here is to inspire, to educate, and also to bring awareness, okay? So with all that being said, let's get started. So the first card that I pulled was the Lenormand. I always start with the Lenormand card because it gives me the overall message. And this is the Star card. And this card particularly is interesting that it has, I don't know if you guys can actually see it, but it has all the zodiacs. It's almost like all the houses in a chart. It looks like a chart and a star in a chart. By the way, you guys, we have all zodiacs in our chart, okay? All of them are present in our chart. Of course, when you do your chart, some of them are more, there's certain things that we have to do in a particular house, in a particular planet, a particular zodiac, but we are comprised of all of them, okay? So just wanted to say that. But the start here is the card of clarity, the card that says, okay, here's a light to the situation. Let's bring some light to the situation, okay? The star is also direction. It points to a direction. Like if you look at the stars in the sky, the constellations, there are directions. It's kind of just like the three wise men, right? They follow the star in order to find out where Yahusha was. So that's the same thing. So this card is a card of direction. This card is saying, okay, stop for a minute and let's bring some clarity into the situation, okay? And that's one thing, because I always say sometimes what we need is to stop for a minute and think and begin to put our cards out on the table and begin to ask for the clarity that we need for our lives, right? So this card is saying clarity is on its way, whether it will be by a situation, someone bringing it to you, or you even asking yourself. Because most of the times when we get clarity, we already have asked for it, right? So if you've asked for clarity, it is coming. It is perhaps already there. You might not be, but you're not seeing it, right? So that's what this card is. So this card is bringing clarity to a lot of us in these times that we're living, okay? So things are going to be known. I always repeat this: age of Aquarius, the age of knowing, right? You're not going to search for things. Things just going to be. All of a sudden, you're going to open your eyes and you're like, oh, there it is, right? So it won't be something that you believe. It'll be something that you just know, okay? So that is the first card that showed up as we opened up this reading today, okay? The next card that showed is the Page of Wands, okay? The Page of Wands. And wands represents talents, the things that you've been given that are resourceful. Either it could be your gifts, it could be anything that you know how to do, okay? So if you look at it, he's looking at that one wand. He's looking at it. He understands what it is. He's standing there trying to figure out, what do I do? Because a lot of us are here. What do we do? What do we do now? What do we do? If you look at the land is a desert. It doesn't have vegetation at all. So one might be wondering, what can I do, with this talent in this land that has no vegetation, doesn't look promising, doesn't look like if I can build anything? Will anything grow if I try to do something on this dry land, right? So if you think about what we're dealing with right now, in this day and time, you might be asking yourself, should I even build? Should I even create? What is the point of it all? A lot of us might be under stress, anxiety, and we might not see the possibilities ahead. So we continue to look at our gifts, we continue to look at our talents and be like, What can I do with this? I don't know if there's any future for it, right? You might be asking yourself that. But there is. You're still here. You're still standing. You still have this one thing that you've been sitting on that you don't know if it's going to take off or not, if it's worth putting it out or not, if anybody will like it or not, right? You have no idea of what it could be. But let me just say this. If you look a little bit closer, see the salamanders um on his coat? That is salamanders are known for transformation. You can take this gift and can transform it into anything that you want. You can take the pain, whatever it is that you have gone through. Your story might be your gift. I was thinking about that yesterday. Your story might be your gift. I was thinking about like when people share this story and the world might be looking at it like, oh, here we go, another sob story. Da, da, da. It's okay because that's part of the game, okay? And if you know that your story can help someone else or can even birth something out of your story, this is the time now to actually do it, to share in whatever capacity that you want to share, right? But there is hope in dry land, okay? There is hope in dry land. Listen, if oranges can grow in Arizona in a very dry place, anything can happen. I have a friend who has a lemon tree and an orange tree in a yard, and it's a dry. It's in the middle of the desert. So, what are you holding on to? What do you keep holding and looking at it every single day, and you're thinking, I don't know, maybe not. What is it that you're not creating or creating that's stagnant, right? There is hope. There is possibilities. Life is full of possibilities. We're here because of a possibility. Things happen because of possibility. And there's a lot of things that have been created out of situations or time periods that it were painful. Okay. And certain inventions came out of a painful period. So think about what it is that's been given to you, that you're standing on, that you're sitting on, and you're wondering if it's going to work. Well, you won't know it until you take that first step, okay? The next card that I pulled was the Eight of Wands. More wands here, okay? So what this card is saying is, the thing about the Eight of Wands is the card of speed, right? The moment that you take a step towards whatever it is, like you have to make that choice, right? The moment you make the choice, the very, very moment that you make the choice, whatever door that is, things begin to move. And they begin to move. And the reason why the Eight of Wands is the speed, because the moment you make a choice, it's like you press the button and the things begin to move. So make the choice. I know there might be some anxiety, some fear sometimes in doing certain things that people sometimes often criticize, right? But do it. Do it and see how things begin to move. I've experienced that. I remember once being in a beach and I made a choice. I asked the question and said, where to next? And the answer came immediately. And I remember I was like, what? That's on the other side of the country. I'm like, yep, that's where you got to go. And I got in the car not knowing what was waiting. I didn't have any plans where I was going to be, where I was going to stay, nothing. But let me tell you guys, I knew that's where I wanted to be. That's the choice that I made. And along the way, things began to show up for me. Ideas, someone, a phone call. It just came. And guess what? Where I needed to be, I got there. But I had to take that step. I had to take that step. And sometimes things will show up as we move, right? Things will show up on the path as you walk on the path. They're not gonna everything's not gonna show up for you before you take the step. Things are gonna show up for you as you move, as you begin to take the step forward, okay? And the last card that I pulled was the sixth house, the house of routine. Okay. And then if you know, the sixth house is the house of work, the house of profession, the house of health. But it's mostly the house of of work, or what it is that you're here to do is whatever your calling is. Okay. Um, and so as you figure out what that is, right? Routine to me means consistency, right? So you take whatever it is that you want to do, you make the choice and say, okay, this is what it is, and you begin to act on it, and you begin to show up for yourself consistently doing that very thing. Okay, so because this is the sixth house, and the funny, and I just want to say something funny for those of you that follow me on Instagram, that I usually post a good morning thing. And the song that came to me this morning, because there's always a song that comes to me every morning, and it was like "Work to Do" by the Average Boy Band, I think. Yeah. I got work to do. I got work, baby. Yes. Okay. So let's do a recap. um, Things are going to become clear to you of what it is that you need to do. You have a gift, a purpose, and regardless of what's going on around you, outside of you, your purpose still stands. Remember, you have the ability to transform, to take anything and alchemize it. Okay, we have the ability to do that. So take that on for yourself, and as you do, things will show up as you make that move, as you begin to walk forward. Okay, things are going to show up as you do that, whatever it is that you need. Okay, and remember, this it has to do with your purpose, the house of work, the house of professionalism. Okay, as you begin to understand what that is, show up for yourself every single day or with consistency. Okay, all right, you guys, that is my reading for today. Make sure you subscribe, hit the follow button if you haven't yet, and I'll see you guys next time.